It's not unprecedented, but there is something particularly disturbing about the way the Trump administration is willing to blatantly project its quote unquote law enforcement arm across the world, while at the same time very explicitly militarizing its repression at home, right? Even the language of the enemy within takes on this kind of foreign military element. They are literally sending in the military into American streets, American cities. Again, not this stuff too, it's not wholly unprecedented, but the kind of sharpness rhetorically of the way that they're talking about it is just very striking, right? To do the law enforcement operations abroad, the military operations at home, and it is really just stated in the language of American dominion, right? They are really just talking about, and we've talked about this on this show, they are trying to forcibly create a wider, I don't even know if it makes sense to call it a sphere of influence, but really a regional sphere of domination. And that's, I think, what's motivating the Greenland push, which we'll talk about, his kind of saber rattling at Canada and this action with respect to Venezuela, right? Because they come out and they say, we control the country. That obviously raised a ton of questions. I think everyone was kind of scratching their head about, okay, well, what does that mean? The US controls the country. Does that mean that they got rid of the government? Does that mean that they are installing some kind of figurehead or what? But really what it meant is you are in our sphere of domination, and so you will do what we say when we say it. And that is the vision of control that Trump meant, and that is their attitude, not just to Venezuela, but that is what they want for everyone in our region.
I mean, I'm seeing right now there was a one-on-one with JD Vance by the amazing Jesse Waters, a man who I can only describe as the afterbirth of some sort of sewer beast. He asks the vice president, how does overthrowing a dictator in Venezuela help the average American? And JD Vance responds, it demonstrates America's military strength, which will make others think twice about challenging us in the future. One of the best ways to preserve peace is to clearly show that, if necessary, you are holding a very powerful sword. And then elsewhere in the interview, he was very adamant that, of course, Venezuela, if they serve American interests, they will be able to sell their oil, which, of course, will ensure that Americans will receive high quality, low cost energy with free access. If there was ever an argument to be made that America is a labor aristocracy, a theory I neither confirm nor deny, that is probably the most clear-cut statement on that matter that you will ever receive from an American politician.
But I think it's also telling, right, that the rhetoric of it and the machismo of it is so front and center, right? And this is very clear in Stephen Miller's commentary too, right? He's like going on these like right-wing, very like Reddit-y screeds on talk shows about how, the West went so wrong after World War II by entertaining the idea of decolonization, and we need to assert our interests unapologetically. And that's what the world needs, is an America that's willing to unapologetically assert its interests. As if the US has not been fucking asserting its interests all over the world since 1947.